Boogie2988, from one of the most humble creators on YouTube, he even got awards for being humble, I'm not even kidding, to constantly trying to pull scams and doing diabolic evil stuff non-stop. What a time to be alive.
A YouTuber we accused of a crypto scam just got accused of faking cancer.
You are faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie.
Despite being offered a total of 80,000.
I heard this, but how did he fake his cancer though? Did he just say he had it and everyone was like, ah? Or was it something else though?
$dollars to prove everyone wrong if he could show his diagnosis to a private third party. He refused to do so, which is annoying because publicly he uses his cancer as a shield from any wrongdoing. In fact, when I confronted Boogie on his crypto scam, that's one of the reasons he used.
I'm in pretty dire need of money. I have a lot of medical bills and I'm fighting cancer.
And more specifically, why he had to promote the coin and couldn't pay back $5,000.
The money's already spent. It's at Mercy Hospital right now. It's gone. I used it to pay debts.
I'll be honest.
By the way, people who do this sort of stuff typically lie about this. The money's not gone. They just use this as an excuse because they think, well, if I say the money's all gone, then people are going to be like, ah, shucks, let's end this. The money's gone anyway. Typically, they're lying about this, by the way.
I have no idea if Boogie is faking cancer. I also don't understand why he wouldn't just show it if he had a diagnosis, but either way, we won't know
I mean, if you have a diagnosis for that, that's pretty undisputable.
Without an actual doctor involved. So I won't speculate on that, but what I can do is confront Boogie on this second claim, the cancer and medical bills, because I found out a few days ago that these statements were false. I know this because Boogie gave us a timeline of when he got paid in the first place. So when were you paid the $5,000?
5 days ago.
Later, I verified with Boogie this payment occurred on June 19th. And when Boogie said all the money was gone on June 26th, that gives us a window of time where he should have receipts for about $5,000 of medical expenses. Boogie, when I asked, agreed to share these expenses with me, and the following conclusions are based on him providing accurate records, which I know is a dubious idea, but when he shared what he had, it fell far short of even what I was expecting. He gave me 2 receipts for the time period, one for $154, the other for a copay of $60.
By the way, it doesn't even matter if he shows receipts for 5K. He needs to show receipts for more than 5K because think about it this way. In that time period, do you not think he got more money from something? Which means if he spent that 5K, he still has money probably because his money is not flowing like once a year or once a month most likely. His money is flowing in constantly at a steady pace from all the crazy stuff that he's doing, which means he does have the money.
A total of $214 by the time we talked. So where did the rest of the money go? Well, Boogie claimed that it was really intended for medical expenses after we spoke, and that when he said the money was gone, he meant it colloquially and then accused me of lying. Wait, that's on June 28th. That's on June 28th. You showed me a payment for $550 on June 28th, which is after we talked, after you told me the money was all gone.
Yes! Have you never heard of the colloquialism? Yeah, that money's all gone. It's all spent. I have a specific thing I need to do with it. Have you never heard that colloquialism? Use fucking Google then!
Well, if you use it like that, the money is all spent. You should still be able to provide, receipts about something. And also, saying, oh, that money is all spent on medical bills, kind of implies very directly you spent it on medical stuff.
It's very common!
I'm saying...
I'm not used to this level of scrutiny!
I can tell. Yes.
Scrutiny.
Yes. Okay, so I have a big problem with this because looking back at what Boogie said, it wasn't just the money's gone, which already means very specifically the money's gone, but he also says the money's at Mercy Hospital right now, which is a colloquialism I've never heard before if you mean it's not at Mercy Hospital.
It's at Mercy Hospital right now.
But even being as charitable as I can,
Bro, the fact that it's named Mercy Hospital is even funnier for some reason in my head.
Adding in everything he calls medical expenses outside of our time window, like there was an $1,000 credit card payment. Okay, we'll just say that's medical, right? He's still only able to get me to about $2,500 worth of medical expenses for the month, most of it not to Mercy Hospital, which I wondered about. Did he need the fatty coin then? From where I was sitting, instead of having spent the money on medical bills, it looked like he saved most of it because of his starting and ending bank balances for the month. Wait, you're taking...
A fucking liar.
You paid about $2,500. Like you're also talking about money you haven't spent, which you're trying to add up to $3,000. That's not the $5,000 you said was gone. And then you're taking...
Well, I told you it was $4,000 when we started this conversation, but of course you're lying about that too.
Boogie, can you explain exactly how you started the month with $800?
I love the most classical and primal approach to these things. AKA, you're lying. You're lying. It's just such a golden thing to do. Oh, you're a liar.
Ended it with $5,000. You're saying the $5,000 you made from a crypto scam has nothing to do with it.
I saved my ass off.
That's right. The $5,000 Boogie made from a crypto scam has nothing to do with the $5,000 sitting in his bank account right now. That's there because he pinched his pennies. Now, when I pointed out Boogie could have refunded the scam if he wanted to, he freaked out and told me he's got a mortgage to pay. Boogie, you need to pay that $5,000 back.
Bro, Boogie needs to. Boogie has bills on top of bills on top of bills. Oh, but not in the term that he's rich, in the term that he has literal bills to pay. Oh, Jesus, this is great. And Coffee still is instantly, think about the people who were stupid enough to fall for your dumbass scam. Pay them back so they can give money to a different scam.
You need to find a way to refund people.
You and spend. If I do, I won't have
It's not
mortgage.
spent.
Why do
You have $5,000.
I spent. No, well, I can't. I won't.
Listen, he's not gonna have a receipt for probably, I don't know, he must be on some kind of drugs, right? He's not gonna have a receipt from his local drug dealer saying, oh, yeah, well, I spent that $5K on coke. Here it is. No, that's not happening.
Won't have mortgage.
But this is totally shifting the goalposts. Remember, the reason we were told the money was at Mercy Hospital right now, that was initially. Now it's because he's got a mortgage. But also, Boogie had showed me his income for the last month.
Bro has things going on in his life. What do you not understand?
And it looked to me like the podcast is what paid for his mortgage. And so I asked, wouldn't that money pay for your mortgage? Boogie said, this month it wouldn't, because he had to go on a special trip, and his co-host was withholding all the money for that month.
Do you understand?
You're not getting Where's your podcast payment coming from? You got that on the 30th.
It's being fucking kept so we could go for this goddamn trip. The money's coming out of my goddamn paycheck.
So you're going on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm being forced to go up there to film the fucking podcast live. I told him I didn't want to. He told me the business was going to pay for it. And then he just said he's taking it out of the check.
Now later, I asked his co-host Keem
That's also illegal, by the way. That is illegal.
Star about this, and he seemed surprised. He said the show definitely pays for Boogie's mortgage, so I was confused. Later, Boogie was confronted on this by his co-hosts, and Boogie suggested maybe I edited the clip out of context.
You told him that you weren't getting paid from this show. He played the fucking recording because he recorded you.
Then why? Then I understand that. Do you think people can edit things to be a little bit out of context?
Well, if he wants to play that game, here's the clip where Boogie directly says it. He says he's not getting paid. Boogie.
Whatever this clip is, he's just gonna claim it's out of context. Listen, the out of context situation is absolutely crazy online because people don't understand this. If you have a clip of someone saying, I did X, and then they explain afterwards, or previously, in fact, they can also do it, why they think that they needed to do X, why doing X is fine, and why they wanted to do this, and why it's such a great thing that they did do that, that's not out of context. You don't need to show a full conversation of like 15 minutes for something to be in context. There are sentences that are alone enough to explain everything because they don't hinge on anything said previously.
You could have gotten through this month without the crypto scam, is what I'm saying.
And I could have not paid my friend back for covering my medical bills.
No.
And I couldn't. No, listen.
Well, I've seen your bank statement, so I know.
Because you're ignoring
I know
the
it's
fact
going to
that
happen.
I need to pay
Yes.
mortgage.
Listen, remember all those fat YouTubers and TikToks who were plus size is great, and then they die around 30? How the hell is Boogie the one who actually is surviving? How is that a thing? How, from all people possible, Boogie is the one that's surviving? He's eating like a pig. He's doing God knows what, and he's surviving better than most people. How?
Your mortgage, right, which should have come from the podcast,
There's no more money coming in between now and then.
which
You
should have come,
understand that?
but it should have come from the podcast. It's not.
Right, because I'm not getting paid this month because I have to travel to do an on-location shoot.
This guy is so manipulative. He has
Yep, that's pretty much all the context you need.
managed to move the story from the money's at mercy.
That's not manipulative. That's just the fact that, okay, there's this one thing. It's not CoffeeZilla's fault, even though I don't like CoffeeZilla in many respects. It's not exactly his fault that a situation like this occurs, because he needs to be nice enough to Boogie so Boogie doesn't just instantaneously stop the conversation. So when you're in a situation like that, you kind of need to be not too aggressive so that the person just doesn't say F you and bam, off, that the conversation is done. And that's how you get into these situations where CoffeeZilla calls him manipulative, but the reality is Boogie's not really being that manipulative. He's just an idiot who's just constantly calling everyone liars and is lying nonstop himself about everything. It's the fact that CoffeeZilla can't confront Boogie on these lies, otherwise Boogie is just gonna hang up and that's gonna be the end of the story. So now CoffeeZilla calls him manipulative, even though he allowed Boogie to be manipulative by wanting to keep the conversation going. So this is like a catch-22 pretty much for situations like this.
Hospital right now to, well, I have $2,500 of medical expenses at some point in the month, to, well, the reason I'm ending the month with $5,000 is because I'm such a great saver and I needed to pay my mortgage, to, no, actually that mortgage was paid for too. The last point I want to address is the accusations he made against me on his show. He says he should have never taken a call with me. He says I recorded him without his consent, despite me telling him up front this was all going to be public and that I was approaching him for comment. This guy now acts like I tricked him.
I should have never talked to CoffeeZilla to begin with. It was a joke, CoffeeZilla.
Who told you that?
Of course you fucking did. Much less the second fucking time. Then in this, by the way, CoffeeZilla records you without telling you he records you.
That's not
Name
true.
a
He told-
YouTuber does this.
Actually, let's look at what he wrote. Pip. Well, I'll be discussing this publicly. Would you like to comment on the story? I can give you a call to explain yourself. Oh, wait, this is not actually saying, hey, I'm gonna record the conversation. We need a lawyer here. Can Boogie sue him? Because this is not saying, hey, I'm gonna record the conversation. This is literally saying, I'll be discussing this in public. And then there's the air quotes, I'll be recording the conversation that is not spoken, but this is kind of what he means. Now, this is duplicitous gaslighting behavior, for sure. Well, I'll be discussing this publicly. Would you like to comment on the story? I can give you a call to explain yourself. Yeah, at no point does he say he's gonna record the story. He's just saying, hey, we're gonna have a talk, I'm gonna make a video, this is what's implied, and I'm gonna talk about what you said on the video. So we need a lawyer here, because this is not actually saying I'm gonna record you. This is in no way just straight up saying I'm gonna record you. This is being extremely duplicitous. So Boogie actually has a point here. That is surprising. That is surprising that Boogie would ever have a point on anything.
I think it's worth showing you then how he talked about me behind the scenes when he spoke with me, because it was very different to what he's saying now. Now he's saying I'm taking him out of context, that he didn't know what was going on. Here's what he was
That's normal. This happens constantly. It's a thing to be expected.
saying back then.
Amount of integrity. I really, really appreciate it.
Hey, no. I mean, to be honest, I'm happy to do it. It's something that I really like people to know ahead of time. I mean, it's not. Yeah. I try to play a long game with YouTube. I'm not interested in like.
Well, no wonder he put this at the end of the video. Okay, so again, Boogie's a piece of shit, but again, this is why I don't like CoffeeZilla. In the last minute that he, well, in the last 2 minutes that he has spoken, you can, they're going 1-for-1. Everything that CoffeeZilla is accusing Boogie, CoffeeZilla has also done. CoffeeZilla is as duplicitous and two-faced in his conversation with Boogie as Boogie is in the conversation with him, and then what they go on to say in the future publicly like this. So, yeah, wow.
A quick
Who would have expected?
video. Like,
Anyway, I guess that's it. Anyway, Boogie's doing Boogie things. What a time to be alive. The train truly has no brakes. Anyway, bye-bye.